Welcome to another episode of Locked on Bulls, an emergency episode. That's Pat the Designer. I'm Haize. On today's episode, we'll talk about Vuce and the Bulls are expected to work out a contract extension during training camp. Oh my God, you Bulls fans are going to hate this. We're going to get into all that and more on this special episode of Locked on Bulls.
You are Locked on Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked on Bulls. That's Pat the Designer. I'm Haize. This is Locked on Bulls. Listen, all intros be damned. We got news. We don't drop a lot of special update episodes, especially not on weekends, but it came out by Joe Cowley. The Bulls and Nikola Vucevic are expected to be at the table to work out an extension during training camp. Now,
JV reporting on it though.
Yeah, JV reporting on it though. And the reason, some Bulls fans, you're going to go right to, but defense. Listen, Vuce is still a top 5 to 8 center in this league by every statistical category. If you can get them shored up, you get them locked in. And while, yes, the Bulls, I've said it before, they could have had up to $20 million in cap space had they not re-signed Vuce and Kobe White next offseason. They probably look at the market, look at potential. Yeah, Miles Turner, there's some other centers out on the market. But if you can get your own guy locked in, you lock your own guy in, and you figure out what's going on with the rest of the team. Where do you sit at this, Pat?
To me, you get him locked in. I will say this, right? The olive branch, right? Like there's two different guys on this show, right? There's me that's like, I'll take you out if I need to. And then there's Haize that's like, y'all dumb, pow. So I'm going to offer the olive branch to the Vuce hater. You know what I mean? I'm offering the olive branch. $20 million a year is too much for me. $20 million a year at the age he is, not because of the player he is, but at the age he is, if you offer him more than $20 million a year, I would feel like that's too much in my opinion for Vuce. But AK may not feel this way, right? For two reasons. One, continuity. It's been what he's preached all offseason. Vuce is a major part of continuity. And the one thing that you can count on is Nikola Vucevic being on the court. How much time did Vuce miss last season? How many games did he play in?
What he played in?
Vuce played a good he's the one player that we really didn't lose. I mean, we lost him to COVID on that West Coast trip.
73 games last
We
season.
didn't lose him again the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a guy that's going to be on the court. No matter what you say about any of these other guys, Vuce's best ability is availability, and he's been available for the Chicago Bulls. He's been very durable. You're also talking about a guy that's 8th in rebounding, 7th in double-doubles. He's 3rd in scoring. This is among all centers in the NBA, and he's got a 109 defensive rating, which is the worst of his career, but Vuce has been a guy that's posted 101s, 103s. So you have to look at that and say, okay, why was it a 109? I don't know. Maybe the 6'4" power forward standing next to him all season.
Or he played most of the games without his defensive stud of a point guard on pick and rolls helping him. So, like, the thing with Vuce is this, right? You said availability, and I'm glad you pointed that out. You know how many games Nikola Vucevic, what percentage of games Nikola Vucevic has played over the course of his career?
I'd say probably, let's go 87%.
Nikola Vucevic has been available in played in 96% of the games he's been available in his NBA career.
That man is durable.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, bro, players don't do that no more. That man is durable.
Bro, especially now, we're living in a league in which big men can't stay on the court.
Yeah.
Nikola Vucevic, since 2011, when he's come in the NBA, has played in the most available games than any center in the NBA. That's more than Nikola Jokic. That's more than Joel Embiid. Yes, he has his issues as a player, but again, yes, he's going to be going into, by the time he turns 32 in October this season, he's going to be 32 years old. But considering his game is not based off athleticism, considering he has a great back to the basket game, even if his shot goes away, the number that I'm looking at, I think that you can probably lock in Nikola Vucevic at a starting salary at about $17 million a year.
I was right there with you. I feel 17.5 somewhere in there. I think that's exactly what I said on the video that'll be dropping on the Windy City Breeze. Check that out at 5 p.m. today. Humble plug. Yeah, humble plug. But no, I'm right there with you. I think if you lock him in at 17 million over, I would say 3, right? I want to be renegotiating at about him being 34 and seeing what kind of player he is, right? Because listen, Vooch could go down multiple paths. You talking about him being durable. I didn't know that stat. So you're talking about a guy that could go down multiple paths where maybe his game evolves to where he becomes a more efficient version of a Brook Lopez type center minus the defensive,
Now, with that being said, like, we got to be fair in what we're talking about as far as contract range, right? 36-year-old Al Horford, $26 million a year, right? I'm trying to look at people around his age. Brook Lopez.
36-year-old Al Horford's making $26 million a year.
Yes.
Because he's been traded multiple times on that same deal, right?
Yeah.
So when was that deal signed? Because that's not a Boston Celtics deal. They brought him back.
But did they give him? I think they still gave him that deal.
The Celtics might have gave him that deal, but I think they gave him that deal when he was like 31.
Okay, that would make sense. He's at the end, because he's a free agent at the end of this year. So so all right, and then but I was using that for a range, right? So 36-year-old Al Horford making $26 million a year.
Hey, we finna pay him a lot more money if Al.
But wait, a player that you compared him to in Brook Lopez, 34 years old, $13 million a year. So that $17 million is right around the middle between those two players.
I would front load it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would
front load it so it's less on the back end. That makes sense.
I would appease Vooch this year. I'd give him. I'd work out a deal that ends up annually being 17. I'd give him $25 million this year, so that by the end of it, you're on the very low end of that deal. And I'd give him a player option, and we've seen AK kind of do that with Drummond. He did that with Dragic. Did DJJ get a player option? I think DJJ got one too, right? Maybe not. Or is his a 1-year deal? His is a
1-year deal, I think. I believe.
One of them, either DJJ or Dragic, one of them got a player
option. No, Dragic is a straight up 1-year guaranteed.
Dragic
deal.
is a 1 year, so DJJ has the player option. So then I would give him a deal similar to that, right? Because you're talking about a guy that if he declines, what's he become? 10 and 10? Like, he's not going to lose the ability to rebound.
This is true.
So you're talking about his scoring ability taking a step back, and you're hoping, right, in my opinion, at that point, if he's 34 years old and he's taking a step back, Zach LaVine's now 31. You're hoping that he's taking multiple steps forward. Lonzo Ball's 27. You're hoping that he's able to stay on the court and continue to step forward. Patrick Williams is 23.
Yeah.
And you're hoping that those are your moves, right? These are moves that get you to the point where, okay, when that guy's ready, we're championship ready. That's the move for me to keep Vooch around. And I think, in my opinion, I think you got to hold on to Vooch.
Yeah. And as an update, Al Horford signed the contract. The Sixers actually gave him that contract as an unrestricted for a free agent in 2019. So he would have been, that was 3 years ago, he would have been 33 years old.
That makes sense. As soon as you said the team, it was like, the people that just gave PJ Tucker $30 million.
Yeah. But I agree. Like, I think you look at this thing with Nikola Vucevic saying that whatever deal that they do give him, it's going to be less than what he's making. I can't see him getting a raise. He's $22 million a year right now. Can't see him getting a raise considering the 33-year-old season unless he comes in. That's the thing. They're working out in training camp, so it almost doesn't matter what he does during the season because they're working out in training camp. So I can't see him getting a pay increase. So I think, like you said, if you can give him a deal that starts off at $20 million, or you said a little bit higher than I would, but it declines over that. And with that even said, we don't know. It could be a 2 deal, a 1+1 deal, right? Yeah. Could be a 3-year deal with the third year being a player or team option, something like that. But it's not going to be long-term money. It's going to be enough money to where if they do need to move it, they still can. But also, you keep that continuity going as your younger players are developing. One thing that we keep saying and we keep telling people, and hopefully after this, Bulls fans just start coming to that realization that this is what this front office is doing. Yeah. You compete now without giving up future assets, so you can also compete down the road, and that's what this front office is doing.
Where's the point where you're pissed off about a Vooch deal? Is there a number? Where right, like, if he comes back at what he's making right now, $22 million a year over the next 3 years, I'd be like, I wouldn't have given him that.
Yeah,
I'm not pissed off.
If they give him another $22 million a year contract as the base salary and it comes up each year, I'm like, nah, bro, not for.
Well, now that I'm not doing. Like,
yeah. Now, if it starts at 22 and it is a declining contract, so that way it gets you save yourself more cap space going forward by it declining. Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. It really depends on how the deal ends up working out. But I'll tell you what.
So like final number. So like for me, right, if they give him 80 million, I'm like, that was too much.
Yeah, I'm looking at 3 year over the course of the 3 years, $60 to $65 million.
That's where it's too much for you?
That's where it's too much for me. I would stay between $55 and $60 million.
I agree with you. I think the deal I said works out to be like 50. I don't even think he gets 55. Well, maybe if he gets a bonus or something in there. But I think the deal I said works out to like 52 mil over 3.
Okay.
I would feel great about that. That's 17.5 a year. I'd feel great about that.
There you go. Well, that's it, man. So before we go, does this deal get done in training camp? I think both sides are going to be motivated to get it done.
I think this deal gets done because I think Vuce likes winning. And I think Vuce is, and I've said this a lot, right? Like European players are very loyal to people that are loyal to them, and especially in the NBA, we don't see a lot of movement from the European players that come over here. Giannis stuck around. Jokic just re-signed in Denver. I mean, those were spots that when they re-signed, it didn't look good. It looked like, oh, well, like they're going to be okay, but like I don't think they're going to be a championship team. And then, for Giannis, it works out. So I think that kind of plays into it as well, and that's kind of why they're coming to the table now. I think they do get a deal done here in training camp. And I think it gets done pretty quickly. I don't think it's going to be something that like looms over. I think this is a deal. Let's be real. AK, the file cabinet's already
exactly.
He's like, we got 3 deals on the table.
Don't be surprised if 3 days in the training camp they announce this extension.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by it.
Can they work out an extension with Io during the season, or does that have to be a postseason thing?
That might have to be postseason because I think you have to. Because he's a second round pick, so he will become unrestricted. So
he's still restricted. They can still give him a.
Is he still restricted?
He can still be restricted.
So then it probably has to be postseason or after the season end because you would offer him a qualifying offer.
There you go. All right. Well, the Bulls seemingly about to lock in Nikola Vucevic on an extension. We'll see how much, how many years. That would take care of one of our free agents with Io left to be dealt with at some point in the future. But hey man.
I'm dying laughing because I can just hear do you get Chicago radio down there?
No, I do not.
Oh, so hey, I'm dying laughing because I just know Mark Silverman's on ESPN 1000 just like flipping the table.
Bro, the amount of reactions from Bulls fans that I can't wait. I'm just gonna be sitting back like, told you. And shout out to Shay. Shay is gonna literally be in he's gonna be
Shay about to be
ecstatic.
Going in listing everything Vuce has done, bro. I ain't mad at it, man.
Well, man, that's it, man. Go ahead and send this home, brother.
Hey, man, follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls, and make sure you follow your boy over at Pat the Designer on everything. Appreciate y'all for the love.
And you can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. And guess what? Since it's a special episode, I ain't got to plug Locked On NBA. So y'all keep following Locked On Bulls, man. Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.